Hi, I'm Tim Taylor, and I want to share a word with you just before church. Um, my wife sent a video to me earlier this week that I want to share with you here in a moment. But before I go there, I want to share with you a little bit of our history and how God made myself and my wife. Originally, when we were called in the ministry, we were called as Watchmen. In fact, our ministry was called, first named, for 20 years we served as Watchman Ministries International. And one of the things you'll find in how the Watchman functions is found in Ezekiel 33. And it says, "Again, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when I bring the sword upon the land, and the people of the land take a man from their territory and make him their watchman, when he sees the sword coming upon the land, if he blows the trumpet and warns the people, then whoever hears the sound of the trumpet and does not take warning, if the sword comes and takes him away, his blood will be upon his own head." That speaks of personal responsibility. He heard the sound of the trumpet, but he did not take warning. His blood shall be upon himself. He who takes warning will save his life. But if the watchman sees the sword coming and does not blow the trumpet, and the people are not warned, then the sword comes and takes away any person from among them. He is taken away in his iniquity, but the blood I will require at the watchman's hand. So the challenge is, when you're like myself and Brenda, and you were called as watchmen, that was our job, was to do this. And the thing is, even though we today oversee Kingdom League International and we've grown in our gifts and our call, that kind of thing, at heart, we're still watchmen at heart. And our personal call can be summed up in this one sentence, that we are made to declare and prepare. We've always functioned that way. It's our job to declare what we see coming in Christ, what we see coming in the world, and give encouragement, give warning, give instruction. And we've tried to be faithful in doing that. And today we've had I've heard from numerous people that have talked about, with this last pandemic, the plague that's occurred, that there were numerous people that basically had an attitude of, no, I don't want to hear anymore. Don't tell me anything about the effects of this or whatever. And then there was this term that was introduced called mass formation psychosis. What is it? Well, according to this institute, psychosis is when people lose some contact with reality. Mass formation psychosis is when a large part of society focuses its attention to a leader or a series of events, and their attention focuses on one small point or issue. Followers can be hypnotized and be led anywhere, regardless of the data proving otherwise. A key aspect of the phenomena is that people they identify as leaders, the ones that can solve the problem or issue alone. They will follow that leader regardless of any new information or data. Furthermore, anybody who questions the leader's narrative are attacked and disregarded. Now, part of my context here is we host a call to pray for our nation every Thursday. And about 2 years ago, we had some folks show up on our call. One was a doctor. He came out of retirement to help with the pandemic and serve. And when he began looking at information, he began to have a different opinion because he was doing what he had been taught doctors were supposed to do and how to analyze information, begin to explore solutions. Going back to your health care is a decision between you, your God, and you and your healthcare physician, not your governor. Hello? Well, anyway, he began to do exactly what he'd been taught all these years. Again, he's a retired doctor, came out of retirement to help. And yet I discovered, because of questions he brought up and alternatives, an alternative view he brought, they threatened to take his license away. Because they wanted to control what he said, what he did. And that was happening all over the place. And so the Lord gave me a word back in the middle of this and before this actually, but I shared it in July 2021. And this is an article, a video that actually got censored relatively quickly. It was about Revelation 18 reveals insight into how the powerful seek to use sorcery to destroy sorcery today on a global level. And you know, Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy. We learn from John 8:44, John 10:10. He's a deceiver, he's a murderer, he's a liar, he's the father of lies. That's what he does. And in this article I had with the little thing I created for the YouTube, I said biggest proponents of abortion and the vaccine. That's who the great merchants of the earth were. And that's what was revealed and what the Lord revealed to me out of Revelation 18 about the fact that sorcery, the word translated sorcery, is the Greek word pharmakia. It's where we get the word pharmacy from today. And guess who was pushing this narrative? Well, anyway, I got censored for this in various places and platforms. Since discovered, well, wow, we've discovered over time that these things that some of the people that were accused and who they sought to license, censor, and all that kind of stuff were, well, they were right. And so Brenda shared with me this word from, it was an interview, Dr. McCullough. It was an interview by Dr. Patrick Flynn. And we find that Dr. McCullough, he is a practicing cardiologist, trained in epidemiology. He was the one of the most published professionals in his area of anybody in the world. And he's been invited on CNN, One American News Network, Flashpoint, Fox, and ABC, and on he could go with all. And the reason he's invited to speak so much, even before Congress and everything like that, is because he doesn't get emotional. He seeks to focus on the information, be very precise in what does the science say and following the scientific disciplines. And one of the things is, and I'll share this in the link, the video, the link to this video where he's interviewed and what he has to say. But this gentleman he's currently in lawsuits right now because they've sought to take his license away. He's been removed from various boards and clinics and other organizations that he once sat upon and was esteemed so highly. People that have less information than him, less knowledge, less, what's the right word, honor, integrity, or not integrity, but credentials. There are people less credentialed than him are trying to undermine him or trying to censor him and delicense him because what he's bringing out does not fit the narrative of the whole. And one of the things he brings out is he looks at the science and he talks about where the vaccines are today. He talks about how many were hospitalized and died, and basically bringing up about how 2/3 of those deaths were unnecessary. Anyway, I encourage you to look at this. Now, I'm sharing this with you because I was shocked at the information. I heard it just the other day. I'm going to do my job as a watchman. I'm going to simply share this. I strongly urge you to take a look at this and prayerfully consider and be informed. Why am I doing this? Well, partially because Hosea 4:6, God says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And because you've rejected knowledge, I will reject you from being priest, and on it goes. The context is you're destroyed for lack of knowledge. The word translated knowledge in the Hebrew is a Greek word that means cunning, being ignorant, aware, or unaware. It has to do with your perception, knowledge, and skill and wisdom. And so the bottom line is there are some people today that are unaware, some that are willfully unaware. And the thing is, you will be held accountable, because it goes on to say in the Ezekiel 33, it says, if the watchman sees the sword coming and does not blow the trumpet, and the people are not warned, then the sword comes and takes away any person from among them. He's taken away in his iniquity, but the blood I will require at the watchman's hand. And my friends, I'm not going to be responsible for that. I choose to put that responsibility back upon you. That's part of what a king does. Kings judge, they decide, and they make war. That's what it says in Revelation 19:11. And right now, God's called us as kings and priests. We are called to make decisions, and you need information to make decisions. So I'm going to give this to you, because it goes on to say that in Ezekiel 33:11, God has no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked would return from his way and live. And here's the deal right now. There is evil out there. There is evil afoot. There is an evil agenda, and God is seeking for a people that will rise up this day, act as kings, make decisions about their own health. Because see, you're supposed to be governing in your own health. when we have four forms of government, there is civil government, church government, family government, and individual government. And there are certain boundaries that should not be crossed. But today in society, we have this mass formation psychosis where we have the whole definition of woman. They can't even define what a woman is. They want to change the name from a pregnant woman to a birthing person. Why? So they can suggest that a man can get pregnant. The insanity of what's occurring is a perfect example of the mass formation psychosis, such that even laws right now are being made such that you can try to undermine the family, undermine individual identity, undermine the truth. And that's part of what's happening right now. And I strongly urge you to wake up. I strongly urge you to be informed. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And the thing is, wisdom has to do with the proper use of knowledge with understanding. And I am praying God pour out upon you and us a spirit of wisdom and revelation, the knowledge of Him, the eyes of our heart being a light, that we might know the hope to which He's called us, and that incredible great power that's available to everyone that believes.